And I think we're live. Welcome in. I don't know how I see if we have anyone in here. Looks like we got a couple people. I can't see comments yet. I didn't schedule this. I just went live. So we'll see how this works. Let me get some stuff going. I don't have anything planned either, by the way. So hopefully we get some people in here to have a little bit of a discussion. Okay. Yeah, maybe we'll bring some people in. Is it Daytona 100 this weekend? Oh, Ryan doesn't have anything planned. Connor, what's going on? Jackson. Oh, it's nice to be talking racing. Maybe we'll talk a little fatherhood too. Whew. So there's like 10 things I wanted to do before I hopped on here. I got 0 of them done other than get my wife and my son out the door. This is my first stint without my son or my wife here in 7 weeks. So this is like, I was like, well, what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to go live. Let's talk NASCAR. I haven't looked at much. I have some expectations on the season, but hopefully you guys can help me help me figure out what's going on in the NASCAR world. I know that Highline's going to be potentially going to be around to answer some questions from a statistics point of view. But yeah, 7 years and 7. Yeah, I feel I haven't gotten my hair cut. I mean, it's fatherhood is real. Like, I wanted to make a Caesar and have a couple beers while we do this, and I wanted to shower. None of that happened. Like, yeah, Big Ross, feel naked. Yeah, what are we going to talk about? But I had Brian Twining sent me over all Superbooks kind of win totals, so I think we can kind of discuss that a little bit. But let's get first things first here. Let's take a poll. Just finish your NFL DFS lineups. Well, hey, happy 2025. Happy New Year. Hopefully we have another big race season. I think everyone was profitable last year that was on here. So cheers. Taking a poll. Yeah, Kyle, it does feel good to be back. All right, I just want to kind of, let's just, like I said, I have nothing planned, but I kind of want to go over the schedule just to start. Let's see here. I wanted to have things pulled up and ready, but I don't have that either. So obviously we're just going to be talking about Cup today. And the plan is for it to be like a real discussion, not just me dictating things. Everyone on here is smart enough to have something to offer. So from a betting perspective, talking to Highline this morning about this, man, season doesn't start till March for us. I think that you could maybe grab a few prices for Daytona, a few long shots, and then kind of hope that things fall your way the last few laps. I would think primarily plus payouts here. You know what? You're going to the Clash. I take that back. The Clash, there could be. We don't know. We don't know what the racing is going to look like at the Clash. We'll know that Saturday, February 1st. There's not only is there practice, a short practice, but there's heat races. I think that that's where we're going to be getting all of our information for the Clash. I haven't seen. I don't even know. Are there odds up yet for the Clash? Let's see in the comments if there's odds are up. But yeah, okay. So Highline will have some poll bets at Daytona and Atlanta. Are there no odds yet? Okay, that's where I'm at. Okay, so just mentally as a new father, I don't even know if there's Clash odds up. If someone were to tell me that they had a Clash bet at this point, or an idea or a lean or a hunch on the Clash, I would call you a crazy person because you haven't seen odds yet. So many times, people will reach out or say something like, I like Harvick this weekend, for example. Obviously, Harvick doesn't race. I was just watching. It was just on the Harvick thing. That's why it popped in my head. How do you know when you haven't seen the odds? Or they'll say, oh, I like USC this week. What's the line? Sorry, you can't say both of those things. So, yeah, I've spent 0 seconds thinking about the Clash as well. So, here's where, it's tough to be a NASCAR bettor because you want the Clash. I think it's going to be tough to bet. The Clash would be tough to bet just because we just don't have a lot of history. And then we go into Daytona and Atlanta. I hate that. It's like 2 weeks of just misery for people that like to bet the sport, because I think it's really hard to bet those races. Then we head into Austin, COTA. It's going to be interesting because it'll be the first time we see kind of cars on the track to bet for the first time, and it's going to be a road course. Any expectations for COTA? Are there any expectations there? Yeah, probably SVG, you'd think. I don't know. You think SVG. The good thing, like, there's going to be some benefits to SVG, in my opinion. Yeah, see, there's a new course layout. There's some benefits to SVG because he's going to be the favorite in every road course race, or so you would think. Having him be the favorite kind of protects some of the odds on some other guys. So what you hope is someone unloads competitive with SVG. SVG is going to be there based on talent, but maybe there's a car that shows up. Maybe the 20 catches a setup, or the 24 or the 5. I would say any of the Hendrick cars could be competitive with SVG. You just hope it's someone with enough talent and to compete with him late in the race when maybe the tires have worn a little bit. But I do think, with Mexico City and Chicago, you got to think that, gosh, his win total, you see 1.5 and you're like, gosh, you just want to slam the under. But would you be shocked if he won both of those races? We can get into that in a second. Yeah, Bowman always runs well at COTA. Yep. Yeah, it all depends on the numbers, Scuddy. All depends on the numbers on these guys. But then Phoenix, do we think it's just Chris Bell at the short track package this year? Do we think it's going to be the short track package, just Bell, or do you think that someone's closed the gap? You got to think that Bell's probably still the guy in that short track package, but I do think we're going to see some other contenders emerge. RFK breakout year, they could. Yeah, I think it's still Bell, but just like I think Hamlin's talked about in his podcast, everyone's going to be closing the gap. Ooh, good point. Briscoe at JGR. I think that's a big topic today. Is he going to be a short track guy? I think so. I think, I've always been high on Briscoe. I think here's my quick thoughts on Briscoe before we kind of revisit him when it comes to win totals. I think he's really good at being competitive with good cars. If he has a top 10 car, he can race competitively and race for the win. If he has a top 10 car for that day. Where I think Briscoe really struggles, if his car's not very good, he cannot get a good finish. The opposite of someone like Briscoe would be someone like Alex Bowman. Alex Bowman can have a rough practice, a rough qualifying, and I'll be damned if he's not there in the top 10. I think he does a good job getting a solid finish. Joey Logano, same thing. Yeah, Bullins and Brad were good together at Penske at short tracks. Yeah, family's good. Yeah, SVG getting a week 3 playoff ticket punch. Yeah, that's a possibility. Priest will add to the short tracks. I agree. That's a good call. Priest is he's just a short track guy. He's just going to help with feedback, if nothing else. He might not come out there and just be competitive right away, but having him in your stable, that's just in those meetings and for feedback after practice and qualifying, I think it's going to be really important. Then you get into the mile and a half. So, I mean, we just looking at Larson. Like, is it? We saw a mile and a half. We did see some RFK. I thought, kind of mid to like late, like, I don't know, mid to like the later 2/3 of the season. I do think, I do think that at certain points, the RFK cars were really good at mile and a half tracks, but then they fell off at the end of the season. Let's see. Do we think more fall off this year? I mean, you hope so. I think that Jacob asked if there's going to be more fall off this year. You hope so. I think NASCAR's trending in the right direction on that. Highline says Toyota at 1.5 mile tracks. Yeah, you look at the first two, and gosh, I don't think Toyota. I know that. I guess Las Vegas, it was Bell. I think that Bell really just kind of fits those smooth, fast tracks, kind of like Las Vegas. Homestead, I don't know. That's a tire wear deal. We've seen Larson be fast. We've seen Blaney be fast. Hamlin be fast. Obviously, Reddick. High speed ovals. Okay, so Highline calls it, kind of classifies the high speed ovals as Las Vegas, Charlotte, Kansas, Texas, and Michigan. Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, that's kind of just the quick start of the season. If we look into the playoffs, let's see. What's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we start the playoffs with Darlington, correct? Just want to make sure I'm right on that. I do love the Daytona is the cutoff race again. I'm high on Spire. Let's see. Did Ford get better late, or was just good tracks for them? Maybe a little of both, Kyle. Who has the best year of the 3 Spire guys? I don't know. I think predicting that will be fun. I'm not sure. Yeah, Briscoe top 10 price would be interesting. Here's what I think. I think Briscoe will probably be overvalued early in the season. Right? Yeah. Hocevar just has speed. I just don't trust him, Thoughts on Hamlin? Well, it'll be interesting to see. That's a great point, Scotty, is asking about Hamlin this year with a new crew chief. We're going to find out. We're going to find out, because if we see the 54 start to turn things around and we see the 11 struggle, you will know exactly why. You will be able to pinpoint that issue right away. And how long does that last? Is it just a communication thing between crew chiefs where it just takes time to get going? Yeah. Childers and Haley, yeah, decent shot at a playoff. Yeah, it depends on what you think of what you mean by decent. I don't know. I don't know. I still think Hocevar has kind of the most upside. He was at least like fast at points during races, where you catch a lap and you're like, whoa, was Hocevar the fastest lap there? That it happened seldomly, but it happened, Yeah, Kyle Busch. Yeah, I mean, there's so many topics that we could kind of like. Kyle Busch has to have a better year Otherwise, I can't see him staying in the sport. If you think Kyle Busch likes running where he was last year, I mean, he was awful. Awful. Trackhouse. I mean, step backwards. Trackhouse step backward. Does Ty get a first win? Yeah, I will say here's my thoughts with Ty. And I said this last year, and I think the same thing again this year. He either gets 0 wins or 3 wins. I do not see Ty having one of those years where it's just a 1-win season. I just don't see a 1-win season out of Ty. It's multiple wins or it's 0. Does anyone what do we think about that on Ty? 1 win or I just don't see 1 win. I think so. The other thing too is I don't think Ty had the best car in any race other than the Clash. And I said after the Clash that that will be the best car he has all year. And I was right. That's one thing I was right about. He got up to a 2-second lead on a quarter-mile track in lap traffic. Like, that's the best car he's going to have. I think in order for Ty to win a race, he's going to have to be there late a few times. And that means that his cars is going to he's just going to have better cars. So that's why I think it's one of those things where, oh, wait, hang on. Brian says nice odds on Gibbs under 0.5 wins again, then go over 1.5 elsewhere. If that's available, I think that's your hedge and hope you don't get middled. I hate setting yourself up. Setting yourself up for a middle, I feel like, is a long run losing proposition. So you just have to be very sure. You have to be very sure. Ryan says Ty will get his first win after a few good races, so any value and his outright will be zapped. Yeah, that's the problem with Ty is I think there's very little outright value on him because he's talked about so often. He's just talked about. Oh yeah, okay. So maybe a rookie gets a win before Ty. I don't know about that. Maybe. A preseason Polish middle. Love for Noah to beat Ty. He was good at Bristol. One destroyed his tires. Yeah, he was. Ty will win at Bristol. Oh man. After watching that Larson performance, we'll see. Yeah, Joey, that's an interesting point. Ty has to be getting the best equipment at Gibbs this year. Hamlin's moving on and Briscoe is moving in. I mean, are you gonna give him the best stuff better than Bell? I mean, Bell is your best chance to win a championship. And by like Bell, where's Bell's weakest? Where's Bell weak? Restrictor plate races or super speedways? I'm not parlaying Lions Super Bowl. I am not high on the line. I mean, I'm a Lions fan, but man, I think we're just too injured. And you already jinxed him. You called Ryan with a real dickhead comment. Said that Jared Goff is the next Jimmy Johnson. And there's probably like 100 people that know that I called William Byron the next Jimmy Johnson, and he went on to do nothing the rest of the year. So, yeah, that's he pretty much jinxed the season by calling him Jimmy Johnson. Yeah, I think Bell's kind of the thoroughbred too. Ohio State Eagles, Bell parlay. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Bell weakness at Gibbs. I just think Bell I'll say second most talented driver in the sport. Can we all agree? Is that a thing? Can we just say Bell the second most talented driver right now? You're looking at just upside and wins in the future. Like who's going to win more than Bell in the next 5 years? Am I missing? Am I being like I don't know? I'm just thinking out loud. Who's going to win more than Bell in the next 5 years? Ty? I don't know. Chevy collusion, yeah. I would take Bell over anyone the next 5 years. Ryan Blaney is as good as Bell with similar equipment. I don't even think it's close. I don't even think it's close. Zilich. Man, what's the Ryan Blaney? Like Ryan Blaney coming from you two, I would expect a Reddick. Yeah, Blaney soft. I hate that. I hate like that. This is the hard part about kind of being in this, and like, and honestly, I want to get into more broadcasting stuff. Being critical of drivers, I don't want to like piss anybody off, but I also just want to be able to speak the truth. I think, man, sometimes Ryan comes off as soft to me. He had the best car a lot last year. Can we all agree? He's been stuck in middling Penske stuff for a few years. I like season wins under. If he drove for JGR, I think he'd be great. Yeah, Blaney drives to keep the fenders clean, but I think in doing so, I think you're probably right. Yeah. Cygnus, I think, hit the nail on the head. Blaney's got no dog in him. Logano has a pit bull. I agree with that. But it could flip for Blaney. If Blaney all of a sudden flips, dude, if he did, he needs to kind of play the heel a little, like pull that Hamlin, like just stop caring and just go win. Now, I'll say this. If you, the way that he went out and won Martinsville, did he have the best car? Yes. I would say he had the best car all day at Martinsville. Hang on. Ross said Blaney spent New Year's Eve with Sydney Sweeney. That's a W. Yeah, that's a W. Blaney and Elliott are best friends for a reason. Yeah. If Blaney doesn't go out there and not wreck, but like beat down every Hendrick car, it kind of punt him out of the way, he wins the championship. Let's be honest. Kyle Larson racing Ryan Blaney as hard as he did at Phoenix cost him the championship without question. And if there wasn't all the Chevy collusion conversation, and there wasn't, and he didn't go out there and move everybody, Blaney wins that championship. Can we all agree with that? Like Larson said after the race, Larson said it. He goes, well, we got to race hard. You didn't have to race him that hard. You didn't have to race him that hard. Oh, yeah. It cost my wife a couch and then some. Blaney needs a little to channel some inner AD3. Yeah. Yeah. But the playoffs, Darlington, Gateway, Bristol, the first round. Okay. I'm okay with that. It is interesting seeing, these one-off races where you just kind of visit them one time in the playoffs. Be interesting to see what happens at Gateway. Typically not a lot of passing there. Let's see. Blackbeard didn't show up full heel. Yeah, Larson didn't appreciate what happened there. What week do I expect a couch bet? It depends on the odds. Yeah, Gateway could be your Phoenix prediction. Yeah. Yeah, those were the guys that were good there. I don't know how Cindric was at Phoenix. I don't think NASCAR is looking to change the playoff format at all. Those comments about AI, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, New Hampshire in the playoff definitely helps Bell. Yeah, if you look at the next round, so the next round, the round of 12 is Loudon, Kansas, Charlotte, road course. Roval, what? These are the things that bother me a little bit. Who's in favor of the Roval? What person was watching like the Coke 600 and was like, no, I don't want this. I got to take a pull. Ah, Ross, good point. Good point. I didn't think about that. See, that's why we do this. God, I got the smartest following. This is so good. If SVG can somehow point his way through Darlington, because we're assuming he's going to win a race and be in the playoffs. If he can get through Darlington, Gateway, Bristol, going to be hard. He could win at Charlotte, and then he's in the round of 8. And then Talladega. No, I mean, this is just a recreational belief. This is not something I think is going to happen, but and if he wins, let's say he wins 3 races throughout the regular season, he's going to be up there in points. You just got to stay out of trouble in the first round. He could do that. And the other thing about the other thing with SVG, and we saw this in the Xfinity Series, for those of you that bet the Xfinity Series, there was a lot of times when in practice, in qualifying, SVG was trash. And I would fade him. And if the final restart or starting stage 3, he's on the lead lap, he somehow got his lap back, and he's racing 13th, just by staying out of trouble. If he can do that at some of these tracks, I mean, yeah, Cygnus, I agree. If he wins Chicago, Mexico, and maybe one other race, which he could easily dominate the road courses. I think he can win road course races with a top 10 car. That's all he needs is a top 10 car, and he can be good enough. Okay. Highline said, I can record that and post it for NASCAR and say, this is why the championship format sucks, but SVG winning is what they want, is for a random person to win. Yeah, just blur my face out. Yeah, he could do well at Gateway as well, Ross. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Gateway seems to have a little bit of that road course braking. At least I went on Dirty Mo, and that's what Letarte told me. So I don't know. I can't really argue with him. Both Briscoe and Buescher owe me money. Oh, yeah. Oh, dude. Briscoe at... yeah, Chicago hurt, man. Cygnus, you and me both, brother. So Brian has SVG at 125 to 1. So, yeah, I guess he is not winning the championship, but you could probably hedge. What would be wrong with SVG winning the championship? Well, it depends on how he does it. It would, if he goes out there and he's fast on 1.5-mile tracks, absolutely, I'm okay with it. I still think I'm not a fan of guys that aren't good at 1.5-mile tracks winning the championship. Now you look back at Logano and you say, yeah, I get it. But, dude, Logano is another animal. We can all agree. He's the pit bull. Yeah. Yeah, I don't mean he's not winning the championship. But where Brian's head is at, and I don't want to speak for Brian or put words in his mouth, is hell, he's in the round of 8. You got 125 to 1. That allows you to bet other guys. Yes, Highline's right. It's not SVG. It's the randomness they have made with the schedule. That is correct. There is a way for him to get there. Do I think it's going to happen? No. I do not think it's going to happen. I also didn't think Logano was going to win the championship. I thought that was kind of Bell. Logano wrecking Edwards at Homestead still pisses you off, huh? Yeah, I don't know that, the way that I was at that race almost killed Truex. Yeah, that's Logano. I don't know that he did everything wrong there. Yeah, Austin Cindric is the same. Yeah, I would agree. That's a good comparison by Highline. I would agree. SVG, man. Who would have thought that that's where we're going to end up talking about? This is great. SVG championship. Yeah. SVG is the example people use as to why it's bad and generally have a negative attitude towards him when he's a great racer. Oh, I agree, Connor. I agree. Yeah, SVG is better than Cindric. I would agree with that. Let's see. Greg said, if I go back at SVG's odds in my model for road course, I've got him around 25 to 30% at most road courses. So I do think he wins. So do I think he wins 2X? Possibly, but he'd have to win at exact right spots. Chastain resurrection year. He's going to need to be faster on ovals. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I'm a little behind on the comments here. Yeah, the Loudon in the playoffs. I like it because I think Loudon's just a really good short track, in my opinion. I think there's passing. I think there's good cars and bad cars. I think there's also drivers that are just good at Loudon. So I like Loudon. Obviously, Kansas is great. Charlotte Road, I hate it. But all of a sudden, you bring up SVG, and it makes a hell of a lot of sense. Makes a hell of a lot of sense. So I don't remember who said that, but if you said it, I'll give you credit here if you tell me who said it. Then Vegas, Talladega, Martinsville. I mean, I hate Talladega. I hate it. I just man, I hate that. I don't know what else to say. I mean, it used to be Vegas, Homestead, Martinsville. That was perfect. That was perfect. But I also, a lot of people get upset with NASCAR decisions on how they do the championship and the schedule. I try not to, I try not to care too much about that stuff. We can't control it, and it's going to be what it's going to be. And sometimes they're going to make changes that benefit bettors from a predictable standpoint, and they're going to make other changes that hurt predictability. And right now that there's been a few that have just been that haven't helped us. Before Homestead used to be the best times to bet championship. No, yeah. Yeah. I agree with Highline there. What do you mean doing work on Homestead? With the crazy schedule, should we just not bet anyone to win the championship till playoffs? Well, remember that's going to be odds dependent. Maybe you do take some guys at higher odds. I don't like betting favorites at this point. I think you'd want to bet some guys at longer odds. There's a Renault going at Homestead. Good. Okay, good. Don't touch that surface, please. Don't touch that track at all, please. I beg you. That setting at Homestead, I'm excited. I don't know who's going. I'm going to Homestead. I haven't made any accommodations yet because I have a kid and plans change. And first he was going, then he's not going. I don't know. We're going to Phoenix. It is the best setting for a race. If you can get an afternoon race there that starts in the day and then ends at night, it is. But I don't know who's going. I'm going to Homestead. Probably going to Phoenix as well. But Homestead for sure. I want it to be a push Like, everyone always says that no one goes to Homestead. No one goes to Homestead, and that's why there's only one race. So the goal is to every year go to Homestead. Let's get the attendance up, even if it's just us Twitter guys. And then we get 2 races. I would love for all of a sudden NASCAR to say, well, since attendance has been up the last few years, we're going to go multiple races at Homestead. I would feel like we're personally responsible for that. I don't think it's going to happen, but that's the goal. Save Homestead. Also going to Dover. I'd love to go to Dover. Knowles Nick is going to be there. Brian's going to go there. Let's see. Yeah, yeah. Beef up security. Yeah, Highline, you might be right. Not seeing any track at 2 races. Gosh, I really like that. I also think it's a part of NASCAR. Just like I don't like to bet super speedway racing, but I also think it's a part of the sport. And I think you have to be good on them, and you have to survive them. If you're someone that's not a good super speedway racer, you better figure it out, because if you don't race well on super speedways, you're going to find yourself in a position where you're either in a must win on an oval or a standard oval or on a road course. I do believe they belong in racing. And I also think that repeat tracks belong in racing. I think that learning and going to a track and having maybe a different track temp, Phoenix races much different in the spring than it does the fall. I think that, that's a part of racing, going to a track a second time. Yeah. Let's see. No one wants to. Oh man, Ross. Ross Anderson says, no one wants to come to my local track, Texas Motor Speedway. No, I do not want to go to Texas. I do not want to go to Texas. That's like that might be last. Is that last? Is that last on my? That's probably the, like, of all the tracks that we go to. Obviously you can justify. Yeah, RIP Fontana. You could justify obviously going to Daytona to go see it. Atlanta, I mean, you had some good finishes. I mean, Coda, that's pretty low. Coda's pretty low. That's a good question, Cygnus. I'll get to that in a second. I'm trying to think of a track I'd rather go to less than Texas. I just don't think there's one. I don't even think it's close. I mean, no, that's the last one. Yeah, yeah, Pocono's pretty bad. I thought about that for a second, but I still want to go see Pocono. I think there's a lot of history there. Yeah, Greg would nuke it. Okay, so Chase Elliott or Chase Briscoe? I'm curious who wins more races this year. I think it's a good question. I think, I don't know. Let's see. I bet Elliott wins under and haven't played anything on Briscoe. No, I don't think he's ever won more than one, obviously. But he kind of won straight up. And Joey, I guess to your point, he could have won the Coke 600 the year he won Phoenix 2 or 3 years ago. He won Phoenix, and then he was going to pass Larson and spun out, but he was faster. So he could have won 2 in SHR stuff. Big Ross likes Elliott. Yeah. Was the 19 struggling last year as a either a car issue or a driver issue? I think there's a lot of things the 19 did wrong, but speed is there. Yeah, Elliott had a great season last year. The problem with here's the issue with Elliott, and I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. If Elliott's the fastest, like, how often was Elliott just not even the fastest car at the track? Not even the fastest car at the track. The fastest Hendrick car. When was he the fastest Hendrick car? Martinsville? Yeah, Brian, but Harvick won 60 times. Oh, okay, final season. There you go. I think that there was only one time all year last year. At Martinsville, you can make the argument for Martinsville, right? Yeah, so that's my only thing is to say that to say that he's just a I think you have to lean Elliott, you lean Hendrick Motorsports, you just he's won more, he's done it. He's a champion. Yeah, Greg, I agree. He said Elliott is the third best guy at Hendrick right now, and he isn't even that far above Bowman. I don't know who can disagree with that. And it's not close who the best is. I don't know what his championship odds are. I haven't really looked at odds. I haven't for a couple reasons. One, I've been busy. And two, I think we could sit here and talk each other into bets left and right. You think he's better than Byron? Big Ross says he's better than Byron. I'd have to hear the argument, but based on who it's coming from, I'm sure there's a good reason. Maybe Elliott has peaked and Bowman is still getting better. Well, I don't know about that. Bowman's nowhere close to him. So Big Ross is high on Elliott. Yeah, I don't remember Elliott passing any cars last year either. How many wins does Elliott have, and how many are on road courses? He had bad luck this year. Top 5 to 10 speed every week. I don't think he's top 5 speed every week. Sachi, are you an Elliott fan? Be honest. Oh, good point, Highline. Elliott won a lot of races with no practice. Yeah. Most cars 10 to 20th could. Oh, hang on. I want to read that one. If they could get out front somehow. Yeah. Larson, Bell, Hamlin, Blaney are top 5. Yeah, I agree with that. The speed, I agree with Cygnus on who the top 5 for speed every week were Larson, Bell, Hamlin, Byron, Blaney. I would agree with that. I would agree with that for sure. I would say maybe 8th place speed at best. Reddick was probably pretty close there. I would just say consistently, I think Cygnus is, I mean, it'd be tough to argue. Sachi, you still haven't answered my question. Are you a diehard Elliott fan? Yeah. Elliott won a lot in the Gen 6. I think that you're right, Greg. I don't want to take anything away from Chase Elliott as a very talented race car driver and a road course racer, but they had something figured out. I mean, I remember, don't you remember when he, at the Roval, overdrove turn 1, drove right into the tires? I thought my outright was cooked, and he drove right back through the field and won. Like, we have never seen that. Okay, so Sachi's a diehard Chase Elliott fan. Okay, we're just trying to be objective here. I'm not hating on Chase Elliott. I just think that he's I have him behind Byron. If they're both even on speed, I would, well, okay. Here's the argument I would say to support Elliott over Byron. If they were both, like, let's just say you looked at practice and they looked even on speed, which doesn't happen very often, I would give the edge to Elliott. I would give, if they looked even on speed, let's just say they're the top 3, they're in the top 3 cars. If Elliott looked even to Byron on speed, I would give the edge to Elliott. So I don't know what that says about where I have him rated as a driver. But we haven't seen that. That's the thing, is we just haven't seen him even on speed, not even close to even on speed. He might be better understanding the race car and what it needs. I also think that 24 crew chief and driver is pretty good together. I feel like last year Elliott and Byron were always both towards the front of the field, but Elliott was just never looked like a race winner. Byron did. Yeah, that's 100%, Daniel. I mean, Byron was competing for wins and Elliott wasn't. Oh God, is Elliott the next Jimmy Johnson? No. Well, yeah, maybe he is, if that's going to be. Yeah, the 24 chief he's good. A weaponized practicer. Fair enough. So is Larson. Yeah. Yeah, he's second behind Cliff. I think that's a distant second. Oh, Sachi, come on. You don't think that, really? Hey, I love that you're here. I love that you're contributing. I think it's great. Is there truth? Maybe there's truth to this. I don't know. It was unspoken that he would take a step back and let Bowman and Byron get their shine. Now he's back. I mean, I do not think that's the case. I mean, that would be, if you're right, if I come back to, like, if, in September, and I'm in, Elliott's just running away with the points or has 4 or 5 wins, I will give you all the credit in the world, because that is some next level conspiracy. Like, that is the the fact that it was unspoken, like they all. I could just see, like, this is an SNL skit. I can see this as an SNL skit. Like everyone at Hendrick, like, they just all walk in, Chase kind of looking around, and he just like nods, like, I get it. And Byron's like, "Oh, you're gonna step down?" And he doesn't say anything. He just goes, "Okay, I'll step up." And then, like, Rick Hendrick's going, "Okay, good. Everyone's communicating properly here." And then, like, like Alan Gustafson and like Chad Knaus and Jeff Gordon are all in the room, like, okay. Like, and no one says anything, just a meeting and just no words, just unspoken. Uh yeah, and Hooters is nodding as well, like, oh, see ya. Uh yeah, Brian, that's a great point. The one thing I do believe is Elliot didn't say anything. That's for sure. Sachi, man, I'm glad you're here. I love it. I think I hope you're right. I hope you're right because he's the most popular driver. He needs to go out there and ruffle feathers. He needs to go out there and ruffle feathers. Oh man, this is great. This is why you come here. This is why you come here. For the hard-hitting stuff, like the unspoken Chase Elliott step into the side. Oh. I yeah. Yeah, like in Davos. Yeah, what's not being said? Mm. Oh gosh, it's good to be back talking racing. I don't get this. Like, first of all, here where I live in Canada, people don't even watch sports. People don't even watch sports. So, let alone NASCAR. So, I don't get this. Do you expect any adjustments from books this season? Expanded more available line. I mean, I hope. I don't know. I don't even know what to expect from I never know what to expect, or I don't even know what I expect openers to be. I mean, I have some expectations, but I try not to. I think over the last 5 years, the books have gotten sharper for sure. You know, I wonder what percentage of NASCAR bettors betting on this sport are kind of sharp relative to football. I'd actually ask Jeffrey Benson. I don't know if he's on here or not. I know he follows me, but I don't know. I doubt he's on here. But I'd be curious if I know that he's at Circa, but I know he also is part of Hanging the Odds for NASCAR. I just think, you know, I think that there's more sharp NASCAR bettors, at least that I interact with, and maybe it's just I live in a bubble, but that are betting more money. So a larger percentage of sharp action, just dollars bet is sharper on NASCAR than it is on anything else. Yeah, Scotty, I agree. How many accounts we losing? I mean, if you don't lose 10, what are you doing? You know, it's got to be a 10 book loss season or 10 account season. That's what you go for. I'm not hearing about the Canucks infighting. Oh, no, I don't hear. I block out Canuck stuff. Who's a NASCAR fan? Oh yeah, Jeffrey Benson. Yeah. Well, I also think I don't know if maybe since we all kind of look at similar things, we all end up on similar sides, and it's like, you know, if I say I like, you know, Briscoe over Priest, I've looked at it, like, or let's just say I bet it. I'm not going to run across a compelling argument for the other side, like very rarely. I think that's part of the reason. And so there's no real fighting, you know, like I might not talk someone into the Briscoe side of that bet, but I probably can talk them off the Priest side. And so there's no competition, right? We're not like, well, I'm on this guy. Now, outrights are different, but, you know, you grab different numbers. Like there's sometimes where, you know, for Brian, for example, he's on Reddick pre-week. You know, every week he's on him when it opens. You know, he gets the best number on him. And if he qualifies well, there's a lot of times where I might think Reddick's the best car, but I can't justify paying the 6-1 price. If Brian locked it in at 14, hell, hey, great job. You did a good job. I agree with you that he's probably the guy to win the race, but I'm not going to play him at 6-1. And so you don't have, there's no like, uh, there's no guys that are, at least that I interact with, that are like arguing with each other on what's a better bet or who's sharper. It's just not a thing. So, um, whereas there's guys on both sides of every NFL game. Um, um, Moves to a single mutual window offering. All the money goes to the same spot. Yeah, they could. I know that they're talking about it. Yeah, I do think that. Yeah, I think both Highline win the race. Those guys have certainly provide. I mean, if though they the books subscribe to those, and um, and they also know where people are going to move. If you post plays, just know that they're going to shade those lines, not because you might be right or wrong, because they know that there's going to be 15 or 20 guys that are coming and just pound one side of the bet. Peripheral prices dropping off the board. Lots of books going out of business in both. Yeah, I agree. There's, odds are becoming commoditized very quickly, and that is kind of the slow death of betting, especially NASCAR, where price shopping is so important. Yeah, the mutual thing. So Joey, the mutual thing, then you have to wait till the last second to bet. I think that what I want is like pari-mutuel money as an option, but also fixed prices. I think you can have both, because then you can kind of shop. And if you understand the pari-mutuel market and where money's going to go at the last second, you can kind of say like, hey, I'll take a chance on, SVG at 150 to 1 to go off before the race, because I don't think he's going to drop below the 120, which is the fixed price. Oh, and NASCAR lines just move way too fast. Like, yeah, NASCAR movings do not like come back. That's not a thing. Yes, no markets would be awesome. And I think Circa is the only one that does that. Yeah, but there'd also be a lot of risk. Well, there wouldn't be risk if it's pari-mutuel. Yeah, Joey, I agree. I think if there was an exacta trifecta, I'd be retired. Want to go back to sketchy offshores? Yeah, getting flagged by your bank, Royal Bank of Canada, Bank of Montreal, cashing weird checks. Yeah, Circa is the best for yes, no props. Yeah, we're the smallest group of gamblers by far, and usually we're the guys that bet a lot are on the same side, and they're just trying to pick off the best price. No, it doesn't. I mean, it's just nothing. Yeah, Sachi, it's way more unpredictable. I agree. Caesars had some yes no last year. What's the best book, everyone? Like, what's everyone using? I mean, obviously I try to get down on all of them, but sometimes limits are so small. See, I think MGM is the worst. Oh yeah, Jacob. Yeah, PPH the way to go for sure. Yeah, take all those you can get. Yeah. That's the thing, is 4 accounts in one season. Yeah, that's a pretty standard season. I'm typically like 4 or 5 just bet 365 accounts. But you that's what I think it's really important to have a group of people that can at least help you get down. I know that if I needed to get something down somewhere, I could reach out to a handful of guys on here. I would trust them to get something down. So, um, yeah, Caesar's odds are out early often. Yeah. What are the I don't look at championship odds. Yeah, 365 I think is the best. I don't even think it's It's close, at least for me. Um, let's see here. Cygnus says FanDuel is the best for outrights and Hard Rock is the best for positionals. Caesars has been setting the market lately. Yeah, I think that Caesars and Superbook, I know that they don't have you don't have a lot of accessibility there, but I think that they're kind of the market standard. Yeah, there is one. I wonder. So there's one total or season win total I like the over on. Think you guys can guess what it is? You guess the driver I like the total on. I actually like it a lot to the point where I might play it. Not Connor Zilic. Not Briscoe. Not Bubba. Chris Buescher. Yes. Not Hocevar. No. Not Blaney over 2.5. Although I do think I do think that I don't hate that, but I like Buescher over 1.5. Here's why. He's been really good on super speedways, right? He's been good on super speedways. He's been great on road courses. They're adding another car. He was fast on mile and a half tracks. I think Jimmy Johnson. I like Buescher because you're not shocked if he wins anywhere. Bojo. That's how he's pronounced that. Bojo. Yes, I don't think I think adding a car helps. I just think I think especially when you get to super speedway races, adding another teammate. Ty Dillon under. Let's look at where Buescher's won, right? I mean, just off the top of my head, he's won on a road course. I want JJ Buescher. He's won on a road course. He's won at Bristol. He's won at Richmond. He could have won at Kansas. He could have won at Darlington. And it's not like the road course was just it's not like he just backdoored that win. I mean, he drove Bow G. Bow and arrow. Bow G. Okay, Bow G. Lake Okoboji in Iowa. Okay. Boji. Okay, Boji. Yeah, he was close. And I like betting his over 1.5. One plus you're getting plus 140. Okay. And I haven't bet this yet. I don't know if I'm betting it, but take a pull. Jeez. You spelled "you're" wrong. Take a drink. He can win anywhere. I think RFK is on the way up, and you're getting plus 140. You're not shocked if he wins anywhere. Where are you shocked if he wins? Indianapolis, maybe. Otherwise, Loudon. He's won Bristol. I don't know. Phoenix, maybe. I don't know. Like I said, oh yeah, he's okay. Yeah, he's missed that. Yeah, he's won everywhere. So I think that's why I like it. Whenever you have like a season prop, I think over 0.5 at minus 155 at MGM. Yeah. I don't know about dominate. I mean, dominate? You just gonna go out there and dominate Kyle Larson? I don't think so. Oh, man. Busher in the rain. I had Harvick and Truex that day. I was not a happy guy. Phoenix, he was second best to Bell in the spring. I don't know about that. Yeah, so Highline and I share this same opinion. We don't like to do season props, way too long, and I'd rather just not tie up cash for that long. You know, it's just plus 140. I mean, the minimum, it's just not enough for me to care. Like, it's not like you can bet that much on it. So that's why, yeah, it's crazy. Crazy long time for a plus 140 bet. But season long, it is kind of nice to have that, just exactly. It's too long to tie up cash. It's just not enough cash to even care. I can't bet any more on a season total than I can on a matchup. If I was able to get a decent chunk, then yeah. Yeah, exactly. The money can just work better long run. But if you are a season total guy, that's the one that stood out to me. Mainly because he can just win anywhere. Let's see, just to win the championship. Let's see here. Thanks, Brian, for sending all these over. I use Superbook a lot just because, well, I can bet there for one. Got Bell at 6, Larson 6, Blaney 8, Byron 8, Hamlin 8, Chase 12, Reddick 12, Logano 14, no respect. Chase Briscoe 16, way overvalued. Ty Gibbs 20, Brad Keselowski 20, Chris Buescher 30. Kyle Busch, I can't tell if that's 20 or 30. 30, I think. Ross Chastain 30. What a terrible year for Trackhouse. Bubba 40, Bowman 40, Cindric 100, Priest 100, Barry 100, SVG 100. No, you don't need to go on from there. What do we like on those? Wait, Zillage is minus 130 for over 1.5 wins. Was okay. What track do I see who winning at? Minus 170. That's still a winner. Yeah, so I minus 170 still a winner. But again, I mean, for what? $500, $1,000. It's tough to get down. Where do I think Buescher does win? I think he wins on a 1.5 mile track. He could win Darlington. Vegas might be tough. He could win at Darlington. He could win at Texas, Kansas, Charlotte. He could win any of those. Let alone he could win Coda. I don't think I could see him winning Martinsville, Bristol. There's just not many places I think he can't win. Michigan, yeah, he could be good there. Yeah. Yeah, he's won there. I think Spire might already have peaked with expectations last season. Childers, Barry fell apart. Zane, Spire started finishing very good. Yeah, that's a good point, Joey. Buescher wins at Worldwide Technology. Yeah, the back-to-back Sachi Buescher was item at 60-1 at both places. Lucky. Round of 8 in Phoenix. Don't set up for Buescher. I agree with that. Brian. Team's going to come out way different look. Yeah. You hope RCR is good. Yeah. Spire, I just don't know. I mean, here's if you're just looking at like kind of the macro on Spire is they are investing a ton of money. Yeah, Big Ross. They have a ton of money and they keep adding talent and resources. Um, I think it's hard to look at teams kind of the end of the season as, you know, a lot of them have just kind of moved on, you know. Ross says, feel like Busher's very hot and cold. Will be a fire for a few races, then really struggle for a few. Yeah, he is a guy you're either on him or against him. Yeah. Tier 1 and getting HMS support. Yeah, I think Keds will have a good year. I think RFK will be stronger. I think you know, there's a lot of like synergies that happen when you add resources to a team. You know, even one car, you know, that they can test different things. That's why, like, even though Spire had its ups and downs last year, I don't know. I okay. What's Hocevar's over under? Boji. I think that Kez and Busher were better than Reddick, but he just won. He won the race off pit road every time. 0.5. Okay, good question from Highline, and then I want to revisit Hocevar. Do you feel like Hamlin is getting the KFB treatment from Joe Gibbs this year? You know, lost a huge sponsor, you know, M&M's with Kyle Busch, and now you have FedEx with Denny. And then Gabe Hart gone. Kind of looks that way, Highline, doesn't it? Kind of looks that way. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, Gabe Hart was a Hamlin. Okay, so here's if I just have to look at Hamlin, I just do not see him going quietly. I don't see him going quietly. I think, you know, if you're going to go to battle with someone, and I've said this about Justin Thomas in golf, Denny Hamlin in NASCAR, you need to pick someone to go to battle for you. Sorry, it's that guy. It's Denny Hamlin. You love him, you can hate him, you can whatever. That guy is gonna fight. I love how close he is with his mom, but I feel like he'd wreck his mom to win. I think that those like Justin Thomas, like he's gonna go down fighting. Yeah, I feel like Hamlin cashes checks. He didn't towards the end of the season, but he wasn't good enough all year, or wasn't good enough towards the end of the season. Gabe Hart gone is a net positive. I'd love to hear your reasoning for that. Hamlin is not a lawn chair. Crazy. That's crazy talk. I Cygnus, I think you're a smart guy. I am really curious as to why you think Gabe Hart leaving is a net positive. I don't even know who's Denny's crew chief. Who's Denny's crew chief? Okay. Okay, so Lots of funny comments there. Gabe Hart was Denny, but I want to get to the point here. Gabe Hart was Denny's checks and balance. Now we get aggressive Denny. I don't disagree with that if that works. If Denny kind of running the show works. If Denny running the show works. Right now, we have not seen Denny run the show ever, really. Well, I don't think he's going to be blowing motors. I think it's going to be Denny making the calls. Like, he's going to say, Denny. Oh, gosh, there's too many good comments. MJ being Denny's crew chief is good. Highline said, when Denny ran the show at Atlanta, how was that? It was terrible. But he was right about the points he needed to advance. So, speeding on pit road, Denny's. Yeah, Gabe Hart did have. Now, I'm not saying he is immune to bad decisions. I think he made a few bad decisions throughout the year. But I think a lot of crew chiefs do that. I think he's still a net positive. But I mean, so who is Denny's crew chief? Is it Chris Gale? Let me look. Gotta do everything myself. Oh, I don't even have it up for 2025. Oh, here we go. Yep, Chris Gale. He's on a lawn chair. Okay, yeah, Brian. So, old guys, I'm guessing you're talking about just like guys on their way out, guys in their fighting. Denny's gonna be 43. Old guys haven't exactly performed great as of late. They've all kind of faded. Agree with all of that. The addition of Briscoe leads me to believe that JGR is focusing more on the future. Yes, but Denny forced their hand when he started 23-11. I think Denny forced their hand. Like Joe Gibbs is going to sit around and say, well, yeah, Denny, you're still our guy. You have another team. He said in his podcast, he's pushing his Bubba to get in the playoffs versus a teammate. Okay. So I think Denny will never drive if he's not competitive. I think he'll still be competitive. Cygnus, another good point. All the positives were race setups for Gabe Hart. I agree with that. Race setups, but he would usually start and practice pretty like average at best, and then get better throughout the week. So maybe adjustments. Could we just change that to he's good at adjustments? MTJ's crew chief is not. It's Chris Gale. James Small is going to be Chase Briscoe's. So, all right. Highline, thanks for participating. Cheers. Have a good season. I'll text you. Yeah. I do think that it has to have eroded a little bit. I don't know. I think his race calls were, man, he had a couple bad ones. He did. I would agree. But I don't think, I don't know about Chris Gale, though. Denny's becoming more of a Hendrick type practicer? What do you mean? Let's see, what are any other major crew chief changes? Lost his touch a little bit. Harvick would never in practice, ever. Who's going to struggle this year? That's a good question. Oh man, who is gonna struggle? Like, who's over or who's under win total do I like? I guess I could go with that. Logano. I mean, Logano's year, I don't think he'll be as good as this year. All right, I'm gonna do just the worst thing for live. I gotta go take a piss. Sorry. You're gonna have to sit here with dead air. Unless you just want me to wrap this up. But in the meantime, I'm gonna find I'm gonna try to find someone I think that's gonna struggle. Ooh, yeah, Josh Berry. All right, let me catch up here. Any golf sweats you call it front row, last veteran. Bengals or Steelers? Okay, so there's another under I found that I liked. Oh god, you guys are talking football. Ooh. Oh, look who it is. Welcome, Derek Yoder. All right, I found another under I like, or another under win total. Think we can guess this? Can Boji go? Can Boji go 2 for 2 on his guesses for win totals? The odds are 0.5. Nope. I wouldn't touch Gibbs because like I said, I think that there's a chance he wins 3 races, especially with that talented crew chief and Gabe Hart. Nope, not Bubba. Nope, not Cindric. I mean, maybe I like those. I don't know. I'm still kind of just looking through these. Suarez, I'm close to Suarez, but it's a very similar. It's the same numbers as Suarez, but it's Suarez. I lean under for sure. Jimmy Johnson. Yep, Jimmy Johnson. Yeah. It's just like you could put like is Jimmy Johnson running races this year? I assume he's running some. You could put his finishes on the lead lap at 0.5, and I'd probably take the under. Not Bowman. He won a race last year. This driver won a race. Yeah, I know. It's the curse, the Johnson curse. Well, it's not. It's just one you sent me, Brian, from Superbook. I don't know if it moved. Yeah, Austin Dillon. He ain't winning a race. Under half, minus 150. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Probably already mentioned, but what driver team do you believe will regress in 2025 from a betting perspective? So yeah, that's what Jacob just asked. For those of you who don't know, Jacob's like my son, like my second son somehow. It's like an adult son that I have. Who's going to regress? I think it's hard to say because there's so many changes this year. I don't think Larson wins 6 races. Like I don't think Larson wins 6 races. Oh, good bet. So you got a plus 130 on that Austin Dillon under. That's nice. Yeah, I like Larson. Well, I don't know that I like his under. I just don't think he's winning 6 times. So I think that'll be a step back. But here's the thing with Larson. I feel like let's just go to racing reference here. Like how many times under 5.5 HMS group? I think it'll be more uniform this year. Larson probably, I would say 4 or 5 times. Byron twice. I think he has a step backwards. Yeah, Cygnus says, or not Cygnus, sorry. Ross was saying he feels like Larson could have won 10 times last year. That's what I'm going through and doing. I'm like looking. I'm trying to answer more than one question at a time for one. So let me answer Derek's question on how I think Hendrick's finishes are going to look like this year. And then I will answer how many times I thought Larson was the best car or could have won last year. I think Larson 4 or 5. I think Byron 2. Chase 2 or 3. And I think Bowman, I feel like 1.5. I feel like, Byron did, for one, he made me look like an idiot when I called him the next Jimmy Johnson. Okay. So you make me look bad. I'm going to chirp you. You wouldn't take Larson under 5.5 wins? Okay. Let's look at this. Let's have this discussion right meow. And trust me, I'm the biggest Larson guy. I found Kyle Larson. Let's see. I've been betting Larson since his 32 truck days at Rockingham. How about that? Oh gosh, Castro Neves. Harvick won 10 races. Larson won like 11. If you include in 2021. Wow, Castro Neves, that'd be great. Okay, under for 26 regular season races. Hang on, let me do one thing at a time here. Cup 2025. Let's project Larson's wins with no data, just off the top of our heads here. Well, that's crazy, Castro Neves. I love it. I think this, but let me just go on record in saying that this cross racing is nothing but positive things for racing. I think Larson, NASCAR should be doing everything they can to make sure that they can have multiple people running doubles. Can we all agree? The more you can get guys like this. I love it. I think it's great for the sports, for racing in general. Like, racing is dying. Okay, like, I want to see all types of racers in cars. I want to see guys going to other disciplines. I think it's freaking great. I'm here for it, and I don't know why it seems, and I could be wrong, it seems like NASCAR is not here for it. Like, the large, like, I think it's awesome. Like, Castro Neves in a cup car, like, I love it. I love that. Oh, CBS race. Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's probably expensive and it's tough to compete with. Yes, Highline. Listen, we could we could have a very critical podcast or weekly show on how we could all make racing better. That could be a show. But I just think that I want to see Chris Bell in an IndyCar. Yeah. I don't understand, how you can have a weird relationship with IndyCar, the Indy 500 and the Coke 600, and have Roger Penske own IndyCar. Dude, and Newgarden, I think that should be a thing too. Highline, that's a great point. Newgarden should be doing. We should have IndyCars competing in the Coke 600. Now, NASCAR's gonna have to make some exemptions, in my opinion, to let some entries. Like, you can't throw Newgarden in a back marker. Well, I don't think you could put them in the same weekend. I don't think you can put it the same weekend. That's not going to be a thing. Ryan Cybertruck Series. I don't know. You take a drink for that. I don't know. I feel like that's penalty box. You don't have to chug a beer, but take a drink. Yeah, you can't do the same. You can't do the same weekend tracks. That just doesn't work. But I think we should be promoting it. I think NASCAR should. I haven't thought about this. Can they give exactly, an uncharted team. Like, let some of these entries in. Like, make an exception for. It's just so good for racing. I'd love to see Newgarden in a cup car. I'd love to see that. I think it'd be freaking awesome. I'd love to see. I don't know that Formula One guys would ever venture outside of that, but dude, that would be amazing. Has anyone watched Super Trucks out of Australia? No, I haven't. Larson wins. Okay, let's just say we'll give him Vegas. I'll give him Vegas 1. Although he was not the best car there, not even close, in the fall. I'll give him Vegas 1. We'll give him 1 Vegas win. I'll give him Homestead. Do I give him a Darlington? I can give him a Darlington. I can give him a Kansas. And I think you have to give him another race, like whether it's a road course or a Bristol. Iowa. He was really good at Iowa. He was really good at Iowa. I think he wins 5 races. Told you, not 6. But could he win 6? Yeah, I did. I don't see him winning 7. I don't see him winning 7. He's good at Pocono too. Yeah. I feel like relative to the field, he's better at other tracks. He ain't winning a restricted play race. Okay, so that was the Larson question. What was the next one? I had another one I had to answer. What did Derek ask? He asked something I want to say. Or do I have another? What else do I have to answer? Brickyard, you got lucky to win there. I think you could make a strong argument for Blaney having the best car. Yeah. How many races are you asking, like how many races the 11 and the 12 win? I don't know about Gregson. He's a tough one. He could be good or bad. He's a very difficult guy to handicap. Spire, overall net positive. I know they had some struggles towards the end of the year, but they're pumping money in resources and talent and people. I don't know if they get a win, but they can compete. Do I not watch? I actually don't really watch super speedway races. Oh, okay. I actually don't watch. I just take that weekend off. Like how many winners are there this year? Well, let's go down the list here and see. Team chart. Do we think Chastain wins a race this year? I'm going to say no. Chastain does not win. Cindric does not win. Austin Dillon does not win. Noah Gragson does not win. I think Kyle Larson wins. What do you guys think? Brad Keselowski. Yeah. I think Brad wins. Justin Haley, no. Kyle Busch. Does Kyle Busch win? I'm going to say no. Yes to Busch. All right, that's like the 0.5. We'll just keep that in mind, Cygnus. I think Chase Elliott wins. Ty Dillon, no. Denny Hamlin, yes. Ryan Blaney, yes. AJ Allmendinger. Ding piece win. I'm just going right down the list, guys. For those of you that can't figure out, I'm starting at car number 1 and working my way up to car number 99. So I don't think Dinger wins. Busher, 6, yes. Chase Briscoe. I don't know, man. Here's where I'm at on Briscoe. In my head, I consider him overvalued. So I don't want to bet him, which means I don't want him to win a race. I think he's man. I got to say yes. I think he wins once. Keith, I agree. I think he wins once. There's 7. Chris Bell. You think he's going to win? I think Chris Bell's going to win. Josh Berry. No. Joey Logano. Logano? Eh? Logano? Eh? God, I want to say no, but of course I think Logano. I want to say no. Recreationally, I want to say no. But I think Logano is going to figure out. Like I think Adam Stevens wins a race. Adam Stevens, I think, wins a race, right? Can we all agree? Yeah. Yeah. He wins one on fuck shit alone. I agree. I think Adam Stevens, you can just go. I think you could say that you can see Logano will in victory lane say at least one time, oh man, we had like a 15th place car, but man, or Adam Stevens, Paul Wolf. Sorry, Paul Wolf. Not Adam Stevens. Paul Wolf will say, he'll just say like, oh man, what a great call by Paul Wolf. So how many is that? That's 8. Is that 8 or 9? I think that's 8. I do not think Bubba Wallace wins a race. Byron. Gillen, no. Bubba, no. AJ, no. Excuse me. Riley Herbst, no. Zane Smith, no. Cole Custer, no. John Hunter Nemechek, no. Eric Jones, no. Tyler Reddick, yes. Ricky Stenhouse, no. Alex Bowman? Alex Bowman? I would say yes. I would say yes. Ty Gibbs? Ty. I burped on AJ. Well. Yeah, no one got you guys think yes on Gibbs? That gives us 12 winners right there. I have to pick between Bowman or Gibbs. SVG will be a yes. I'm going to say no on Ty. I'm going to say no on Ty. And that could be that one's McDowell, no. Ryan Priest, no. Carson Osavar, no. SVG, yes. 12. I mean, if you go with that, so 13. Okay, yeah, this is a good one. Bowman, Gibbs, Chastain, Briscoe, four-way bet. Who wins first? Hmm. Oof. You know, it's crazy. I don't think he wins this. What? I mean, is it all just like plus 250? Cygnus on that Bowman, Gibbs, Chastain, Briscoe? Who wins first? Bowman, Gibbs, Chastain, Briscoe. They're all plus 250. Yeah, I would tend to agree that the edge would be Briscoe. Briscoe at Phoenix is probably your Yeah, it's Briscoe or Bowman for me too, I would say. But Gibbs at Coda. Is Briscoe a good road course racer too? Yeah, super speedways, but I mean, who's the best super speedway race out of those guys? Chastain, maybe. Yeah, Chastain won at Phoenix and Coda. That's a good question. Who was really good at Xfinity? Uh, I think. Yeah, I think we got what 13 winners or 12 between 12 and 13. Um, Look at this. Yeah, you're gonna have to copy and paste it in the because I can't. I'm not gonna be able to see. AJ won Coda till he got Chastain. Yeah, maybe. This year's Harrison Burton. This year's Harrison Burton could be like a Carson Hocevar. And the only reason I say that is because he's had speed. Who wins Daytona? Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I just blocked that race out. Maybe Kyle Busch wins at Daytona. Maybe Kyle wins at Daytona. I'd like to see it. I'd like to see that. Anybody opposed to Kyle Busch winning Daytona? Besides Sachi, who's clearly an HMS guy. Yeah. That's really funny. Kyle Busch is this year's Harrison Burton. Oh. Marty winning Daytona, Keith says. That'd be good. Yeah, that'd be something, wouldn't it? Oh, hot guy podcast here. I gotta get going. Otherwise, you know. Oh, you're okay. So Chevy guy. Okay. You just don't like I mean, I because I'm really not a fan like of stuff like that. I always find it interesting when people are like um uh team Chevy or team Toyota or Ford or whatever. Oh man, this is a whole new can of worms with hot guy pod. I got a quarter of a beer left. Yeah, Kez could pull a super speedway out. I'm telling you, adding another guy is good. The Chevys faced off with the Fords last year and beat them. In what? Oh, at Daytona? I mean, Ford probably gets a Daytona pole. I mean, I guess. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I got all black just because that's what I was wearing when I sat down. It's a comfortable shirt. Canadian brand, I think. Wouldn't you know that? Like, I don't know. I feel like it's a Canadian brand. My mother-in-law got it for me for Christmas. Does Gibbs cheat on engines this year? I mean, everyone's going to cheat. Hendricks loves the pole. Wow. Austin Spindrick. Wow. You Canadians. I think there's a lot more to the Hamlin suspension story. What do you mean? Why are you in Canada? This is where I live. I guess before I wrap up, any like betting questions? Like like I don't know. Like take a poll. Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll take you. You sound like a a sixth grader on the in school recess. Yeah, 2 hour attention span. Yeah, we've been going for about 2 hours. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know about you guys. It's not like I've been talking NASCAR with anyone. My kid and wife don't listen to me. Well, oh yeah, that's a good question. Um, which driver will I lose the most money on this year? That's a great question. I like this one. What driver will I lose the most money on? I wonder who it was last year. Yeah, but that's not what he's not referring to lose like who's going to cost me money. Jacob's referring to who am I going to lose money on? Like by betting them and then they let me down. Last year, I don't know who it was. I don't even know who it was. I had yeah, but Blaney I also made a ton on at Martinsville. I'll say this, last year I didn't have a ton of big races, but man, I had very few losing races where I got so much on Truex. Yeah, Blaney giveth and taketh away. Yeah. Chastain, I didn't have a lot on Chastain. Yeah, I personally I had Hamlin at Nashville. Hamlin at Nashville and Bell at Vegas. Oh, and then Blaney in the championship. Those were big swings for me. Big swings. Yeah, they're just trapping your dead money on Truex. Bell at Vegas was a big one. Blaney at, I mean, it's hard to say if Blaney wins Martinsville, if he wins at Homestead, but gosh, Blaney at Homestead was a huge one for me. Yeah. I still think the best that Vegas race. The fact it to be honest, I very fortunately had Logano in both of those races at 20 or 25 to 1. And I they were the worst bets I've made all year. The worst bets I made all year were both Logano bets at Vegas and Nashville, and they won. No, I got the same damn couch I've had, and we need a new one now. Like, now I'm starting to be like, okay, I've been sitting in the same spot feeding a kid for. There'll be more couch bets in 2025. There has to be. I told her I'm not getting one until I win a couch bet. So. Oh, SVG was a tough. Gosh, SVG at Chicago was terrible too. Oh, I did play Reddick, by the way. Brian, come on. I played Reddick. I got Reddick a good price at Homestead. I just couldn't bet. Max bet's pretty low. Blaney at Richmond. Did he puke that up? I'm pretty sure. What was Briscoe doing where? Xfinity. Yeah, Jacob, I can't remember kind of what we had. There were like ups and downs. Oh, thanks. Thanks for the congrats on the kid. Oh, yeah. Oh, the hate fuel on Briscoe at Chicago. Yeah. Yeah. Gator at Phoenix. Yeah. Well, who did? Oh, yeah. Yeah, Riley Herbst. That was the biggest whiff by me all year was Riley Herbst at Phoenix. Like, you'd think I'd see a car like that be that good, but whoa, I was out to lunch and that car was, and people were telling me he was fast. Like, and I still didn't bet him. Yeah, I know. You were all over Herbst. Yeah, Blaney at Iowa, that was a weird one. Like, I had a little bit on Cindric. Again, small maxes. Jacob cashed, bought a car with his, but wait, no, that wasn't at Iowa. That was at Gateway. Iowa, dude, that Larson at Iowa I thought was a terrible beat. Larson in Iowa was a spaceship. He's the only guy that went from the back to the front in like 30 laps. That was probably the best car that didn't win. Was that the best car that didn't win? I mean, you could, well, gosh, Hamlin at Nashville, SVG at Chicago, Bell at Vegas. But dude, that 5 car at Iowa was a joke. What happened Truex top 5? Did he fall out of the top 5? Yeah, I know. Best car that didn't win a race. There's a lot of them. Bell at Gateway is another one. Yeah. I mean, I didn't have much on Bell Bell blew an engine and then Blaney ran out of gas. I mean, I also have to say that Truex at Loudon was, when it was dry, was, I mean, another level. And I thought he was going to be bad. That's the crazy thing is you can be wrong so much. I mean, I'm wrong a lot. Let me be clear. I'm wrong a lot. But you just want to be wrong small and right big. You just I'll say this. I definitely strive to be generally right and not exactly wrong. Does that make sense? I feel like if you're betting this sport week in and week out, meaning you're on this show, you can get an idea of generally how the race is going to go. Not precisely, yeah, yeah, approximately right, not precisely wrong, something like that. You just want to be generally right. Like, I think if you just understand like who's going to be good, who's going to be bad, and then you kind of understand what the prices are, you can make money betting this sport. You have to pick your spots, but you know, I try to avoid ruin. Like the last thing you want is to have races where it's like, dude, I can't bet, or that's you just strive to be generally right. You just don't want to. There's very few times. Twice I called like the two obvious winners where I really kind of went not all in, but like I really shoved was Larson at Bristol and Blaney at Martinsville. Yeah, yeah. I feel like everyone's kind of generally right, but you get stuff wrong. I mean, it's hard to predict this stuff. Yeah, with 20 to go, you want to have a chance. But I also I've discussed this with Todd. If you're good at this and you're right more often than you're wrong, which means the races are going in your direction, like or heading your way, or at least you're right, you're gonna have more bad luck than good luck. If you were, let's just say you were only right 50% of the time, then you're gonna have equal amount of good luck as bad luck, right? Because it's all luck. If it's a coin toss, then it's a coin toss. But if let's just say you're right 70% of the time and half the time is good luck and half the time is bad luck, it's going to hurt you more than it's going to help you. So you have to understand that most people that bet this sport are going to feel like had things just played out normally, I would win. Right? Yeah. It would be yeah, if randomness hurts you, you're right. Yeah, I think that's probably right. Stay green, baby. Um Yeah, Ross, public data sources you use when looking at practice. Like, I mean, I just use J-Ski Racing Reference. There's something I have that I feel like I don't I don't post any of this stuff that I use. Um, but it's just mine and mine only. Like no one sees that. But I subscribe to Highline stuff. I subscribe to Win the Race. I'll subscribe to what a Joe Schroeder. Like I'll pay for all that stuff. I'll pay for fantasy racing cheat sheet. I'll pay for all that stuff because I want to support it. I want to support the community. I don't tail anyone's bets. That's one thing I'll never do. I never just tail a bet. Like if someone sends me a message like I like Blaney over, Reddick. I don't care about the bet. Tell me driver A and Y and driver B and Y. Like I will tail explanations, but I will never tail a bet. You have to convince me. And if it's I feel like or I think or he's must win or this, like that does not fly. Yeah, Brian, all those guys are putting in a ton of work. I mean, and it's small money. It's nothing. It's not going to break the bank. I just like knowing where people are at. Uh, yeah. All right, Cygnus, enough. No more out of you. I got to keep some stuff to myself. Yeah, there's good feedback everywhere. But yeah, the goal is to be right, and get it. The goal is to like get it right. Yeah, Big Ross explains the bets. Like I know guys that do that. I know that there's people that will say why they bet everything. And that's more important. I'll tail an explanation. But then it's not, but then it's like agreement. If Todd texts me something about like, hey, I play this in football, well then I play it. Or if I get a text from Wob and it's in the NBA, I don't those guys I trust. Yeah, and then you go back and right or wrong. Yeah, Cygnus. Yeah, you should have a rival show. Yeah. I just think it's just like, well, why? You know? Yeah, that yeah, it just I mean, I did something with yeah, so the way that I think about models, I don't have a model. Like I will use the practice model at Win the Race. I will look at Highlines rankings. Um, and then if I have questions, I'll just reach out to them. Uh, but there's a level of um, like familiarity that models are a great place to start. The more of an expert, I guess you become, the less you rely on the models because you already have a mental model, right? You don't need the model and spit out. And I know there's people that just trust models and they just fire and they make money long run. And they just fire what their model tells them. And maybe they're a high volume guy. I'm a low volume guy where I choose my spots. I want to win my, I want to, I just want to kind of do this and have a one big one and then just kind of go up, down, and then have one big one. Versus like this or I hate this. Like that's um yeah, that's I just like to pick my spots, selectively aggressive. I did it in a couple spots last year. Like I said, my season last year, I did not have a better season than 2023. That was really good. Um, but I was shocked um at just how little I lost in races. Like I had like nothing. Like no race was I ever like, oh, I can't believe I had a big loss. Like everything was like, I can't believe how much I lost in the last 5 laps. Like, you're kind of not counting my money with like 5 to go, but it's like, oh man, like uh how much we would have made on Hamlin or Bell if he catches. So um not JJ and myself. Um, yeah, yeah. You have to, and that's why I think that this show has like hopefully longevity. Um, because I, I don't want to just give out picks like that. Doesn't I don't think that does anybody any good. Everyone should make their own bets. Like there's there's just you just get I don't know. I don't want people to just tail my picks, and to be honest, you can't. Like I think it's just having the discussion is important. Yeah, don't handle streaks that well. Managing heaters. So you're going to work on this year. When I'm cold, I really lock it in and get judicious. When I'm up, I get a little too much like Dylan. Well, okay. Yeah. The, yeah, the toxic environment. Yeah. No, I agree with that. Especially if you're losing and then just no comments. Like I just like to have a reason for it. And the best card doesn't always win. And you could take a snapshot at any point in time and you could lose that race. Like you can lose any race. I don't care how much you get right. You can lose any race. You can be right and lose your ass. So it's never a short run thing. That's why it has to be like a long run thing. You have to do it. You kind of have to do it all season or not. But people that just pop in and pop out, like I have friends who are like, what do you like? I'm in Vegas. And I'm like, well, like I have to tell them like, hey, I could lose this week or I don't like anything, you know? Yeah, championship hurts. Man, just the last man, I could go through Phoenix hurt. Martinsville was good for me. Um and I think it was good for everybody to listen to the pre-race poll. I don't know there was one person that wasn't on. Was there anyone that missed Blaney at Martinsville? Yeah, that my best bet, I went on a dude, I lost like 10 in a row on that thing after beating the market, and then whenever didn't beat the market, it won. Did anybody lose money in Martinsville? Yeah. I don't think anyone lost. I think everyone had Blaney. Everyone had Blaney there. Um, I didn't lose money on Homestead. Um, but I had way more on Blaney, but also 0 on Hamlin. So, you know, yeah. Um, yeah, Sachi. Yeah. Chase was good. I had some Chase too. Okay, so Homestead, I could have had a bigger race, but I could have had a much worse race if Hamlin wins. So, okay. Um, Las Vegas, I'm pretty sure everyone had a heartbreaker because I mean I was kind of preaching Bell from the get go. Everyone that kind of follows my content was on I felt like Bell at least, and then I was also on Blaney, but that obviously didn't work. But I somehow had Logano. I thought Logano was going to be good. So I just got lucky that I had him. I mean, yeah, I think I lost to Crum and I had him at 25-1. The Roval, I don't remember. I don't even know what I did in that race, like betting wise. Probably lost to Crum. Don't bet Talladega. How the hell did Ross Chastain win Kansas? I don't know. Kyle Larson at Bristol went well. Busher, I know a lot of guys did well at Watkins Glen. I did not do that great, but I broke even. Chase Briscoe at Darlington kind of hurt. Tyler Reddick at Michigan. I know I didn't have. Austin Dillon at Richmond. I know I didn't have. I had Kyle Larson at Indy. Probably bigger than I should have. Blaney at Pocono. I had a little crumb. Bowman I did not have in Chicago. Yeah. Ross at Kansas. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know exactly. It's like, oh my gosh. But then like what could have been? I mean, I had a lot on Bell at Coda. I had a lot on Bell at Richmond. That speeding penalty, he could have easily won. He would have won there, in my opinion, the first one go around. I had a lot on Byron at 20-1 and at Martinsville the first time around. Chase at, I mean, Texas sucks. Dover, I did not have Hamlin. Kansas, I'm pretty sure everyone got hurt a little with that. Everyone had Busher. Darlington, I had Reddick, Busher, and Brad. So Brad winning was my biggest win. Like at least best case scenario there. Charlotte, I did not have Bell. I had Brad. I thought Brad was a better car. Larson probably would have won the race. Yeah. Larson, Reddick, Quinella was a 3x winner for. Oh, nice. There's also like, does Larson win at Homestead if it stays green? I don't know. I mean, Blaney was beating him, but Larson was right there. I don't know if Larson either 50-50 on whether he makes a move and wins that race. I mean, Gateway, Cindric. I mean, I was lucky. I had a little Bell and Cindric, Sonoma, Larson. I did not think that. I thought Busher was going to win that race for whatever reason. Iowa, Blaney, I had none of. I had Bell and Larson. Bell was good towards the end. Larson was a spaceship. Yeah, this is just airing our grievances. But football is about to start here, so I'm going to get going. Yeah, Truex. That's a great point, Ross. Truex was going to win that race. Oh, yeah, that's right. And he was my pick. Damn it. Yes, that is so yes, he was gonna win that race. I forgot about that. Uh, um, yeah, crazy. Yeah, you could just do this like every year, just a pity party. Like, just tell me about how bad the beats were. Just a somber bad beats episode. Yeah, Truex wins, Richmond won. James Small will be Briscoe's crew chief. Yeah, the whole season, big Truex heartbreak. New pod, yeah. If it stayed green, yeah, yeah. If it had stayed green. I'm trying to think of the word, the caution I hated the most, like where it's like, oh my gosh, not this. Had to have been at Nashville, where you're just like, oh, because at Vegas, like you with 70 to go with the bell thing, I didn't think it was still a winning move. Like, I didn't think that with 70 to go, I was pissed because I knew it was just outside the window when it didn't have to be, you know? So I didn't know. You never know. And if there's another caution, I think Bell wins the race because he would have won the race off pit road. But I'm pretty sure Denny, there were some 4-letter words yelled. Um, yeah, changed NASCAR history. Denny actually liked my tweet. Something about like someone bet an under in a college football game that went into like 7 overtimes, and then they ended up losing the under because of it. And I was like, oh, this reminds me of my Denny Hamlin loss um, at Nashville, and he liked it. Denny knows we're betting. Stage 2 Watkins Glen caution, the Vegas caution for looking on fuel. The Richmond 2 caution was terrible. What one was that? I don't remember. They all blend together. What was the Richmond 2 caution? What ended up happening? The Oh yeah. Dylan was really good that day. Yeah. Dylan was really good that day. Best car. Crazy. Best car. And then just pissed down his leg. Oh, bingo card for cautions. Yeah, I mean, did it get destroyed? I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone still cashed that Richmond ticket, didn't they? That is, you know how many times that happens to someone other than Austin Dillon? Like, how many times is Kyle Larson the dominant car, or Denny Hamlin, or William Byron, or someone the dominant car, Chris Bell, and then a caution comes out and they lose? That happens all the time. That happens all the time. But when it happens to Austin Dillon and it's your only chance to get in, you feel like you should have won and you're going to wreck 2 guys to win. Xfinity Charlotte Roval caution. I don't remember that one. There's just so many. Who ended up winning that? Oh yeah, that's right. Ryan had a lot on Dylan, I would say. He thought it was a good clean pass. Good clean passes. Yeah, crazy. All right, well, football's about to start. Good hard, clean racing. That's all that was. Yeah. Not not the best season, but could have been, I guess. What driver is my boy going to support? Well, he's going to learn the gambling way. He's not allowed to have any support. I mean, I'm sure he'll like someone, but I'll put him in timeout. I'll be adding a new wrinkle to the poll this year. Got a little something planned. Yeah, dude, fatherhood. Whew. I mean, you got any dads on here? It is a full-time job. I mean, it's probably going to be a Bedsure fan. Yeah. Yeah. Homestead for sure. Yeah, I'm going. So figure it out. 9, 6, and 1. Oof, Cygnus. Yeah, you're in it, man. You are in it. Yeah, your daughter just turned 1. It's crazy. Like they just tell you like, oh yeah, your life's gonna change. Yeah, Brian sticking to dogs. Yeah, you can put your dog in a kennel. Pretty sure the cops show up if you put your kid in a kennel. I mean, just you have no regard for their bodily fluid. Like nothing's gross anymore. It's like whatever. Like you just wear dirty clothes. Like I'm in public. Like I already don't care about how I look in public. I care even less now. Like I wear a sweatshirt that just has puke stains all over it. Yeah, free time reading. Like you go to read a book and you're so tired you just fall asleep. I used to read all the time. I don't even have a job and I don't have any free time. Maybe that's part of the problem though, because I'm so available. Like this is the first time I've been away from him for more than 2 hours. But yes, you should. Okay, yeah. In the end, it is worth it. It is worth it. Yeah. Yeah, I can agree, Cygnus. It is like get a job, loser. Yeah, I have to start working in Canada. I got to pay taxes up here. So you don't have to pay tax on gambling winnings, which is nice. You just have to pay taxes though in order for me. So I started a little business I'll do up here to Lamar looks cold. But yeah, you should have kids. There's really, you need to find a purpose in life, whether it's a mission, you want to find religion, whatever, or have kids. That's kind of your healthcare ain't free at all. That's for sure. If you're going to bet the football game, do you guys want to know my opinion? I don't think I'm going to bet it, but if you care about my opinion, then 51st state. Yeah. That wasn't super popular comments up here, but Ravens first quarter only minus 3.5. Ravens first half. Under. Yeah, see, look at everyone has an opinion. I think the books are going to win money based on all of this. Yeah. Yeah, but are you a sicko by taking a 20-point underdog in the NFL? Steelers plus 2.5. Yeah. For what it's worth, someone I trust sent me a Ravens minus 19.5 bet. So that's all. That's all I'll say. He said a half unit. It wasn't Todd, but it was someone that I know does well and bets real money. So do with that what you wish. All right, boys. I gotta go. Good luck. And no pre-race pull unless something changes, which it could. No pre-race pull until Coda. So no pre-race pull till Coda. Unless someone wants to sponsor some other ones. All right. Maybe we'll do one for Daytona, but I don't know. People are gonna have betting questions. I just will be like, take the plus payout. That's all I should. Oh, the Clash. Ooh, maybe I'll do a Clash one. Yeah, Clash. I'll definitely do one for the Clash. Good call. Clash, and then Coda. I'll do one for the Clash. All right, everybody. See ya.